Hey folks, it's time to get serious about building this beautiful 1/32nd scale boutique kit from Aviattic of the Pfalz D.VIII. This kit came out limited edition sometime in 2024. I waited a few months before I made the move and then purchased it. I bought the Pour le Marie edition, which had some extra goodies. I was so impressed with the kit that I actually did a box review, something that I don't do very often at all. And that's somewhere on my channel. Maybe I'll put a link to it, maybe not. But I had planned to make this my next build, the one that I deferred for about a month for various reasons. But now it's time to start. So I'm not going to review anything that's in the box. I have already done that, but I got going today in a limited way, and let's take a look at where I'm at. Well, one of the many things that really wowed me about this kit was the interior, the way it had all been put together in terms of kit design. An interior frame, 3D printed resin, delicate, but just exquisitely detailed. And I said, well, that is going to be something different. I have done tubs and interior frames, but never out of resin pieces, always harder styrene. But this is just beautiful. Had to cut away, carefully remove all the little support structures, whatever they call those little things that come with 3D printed parts. But it was time to go. Although that was going to present a challenge. The plane is very small, although not unduly narrow, but it's short. And there's a lot of detail to be put inside what I'll call this frame interior tub. But of course, I always want to add a pilot. And that's where things were going to get a bit tricky. The kit came with a beautiful resin pilot figure of Paul Bäumer, a German ace of the First World War, standing figure. Now, this was, of course, the first thing I did when I got the kit. Had to paint this beautiful figure, but I was not going to perform radical surgery on him and try and turn him into a seated figure. He'll be a display figure, but I was going to have to go somewhere else for my pilot figure. So I needed to take a look at what do I have in inventory. Over the past couple of years, I've accumulated a collection of 1/32nd scale pilot figures, Great War pilot figures, for use in future builds. And this RFC pilot has been sitting around for quite a while, waiting for a ride or a flight. He's really good quality. Comes from, let's see, this was Copper State Models makes this figure. And I realized when I did a test fitting inside the frame, he would fit. I would have to lose or bend the legs significantly, no big deal. But I was actually put off a little bit by that big fur collar and the raised arm. That was really going to obstruct whatever limited view there was inside the cockpit. And there's a lot of beautiful detail. Of course, putting a pilot figure in the first place is kind of counterintuitive to showing off the interior such as it is. But I decided I will save this guy for a later effort. Maybe an SE5A, because I've got a couple more of those waiting to be built. Well, next up is this beautiful resin figure. This is actually was labeled as a Fokker D.VIII pilot. And it comes from a little company that I can't remember the name of, but really well done. He would fit if I chopped off his bent, hunched over most of everything from the back of the neck down to his derriere. And I think I could get him in. But actually, as much as I don't mind doing stuff like that, since this figure was custom built for a Wingnut Wings Fokker D.VIII, and I have a couple of those in the stash, no, not going to use him. Well, then I've got this guy who looks, I'm going to admit, quite a bit strange, because this is a beautiful Aviattic German pilot head on a Keller-Kint German pilot body, and while they both purport to be 1/32nd scale, I think you can see I really shouldn't have done that. I'm going to have to do a head removal and match up that head with a more appropriate sized body and use a smaller head for this figure. So this isn't happening either. Okay, am I running out of options? Well, not quite yet. Yeah, you probably suspected that this story vignette has a happy ending or a happy turn of events. Here is another German pilot from Keller-Kint Miniatures. He doesn't have his helmet on, he's got his field cap, but that's okay. I did have to carve the legs a little bit and remove the feet, but he actually slips right into this beautiful frame. I don't have to snip or risk, I hope I won't risk any damage, because this is going to look just exquisite if I can get it all right. And just to be sure, I slipped in that frame, just pushed it in through the taped up fuselage sections, slipped the pilot back in through the cockpit opening, and I'm quite encouraged at this point. Now there will still be a lot of other stuff to slip in, and I need to get some 2-part epoxy glue. Apparently that is the go-to glue for doing resin work, or at least a larger scale or larger pieces of resin work. So I've got some on order. It'll be here in a couple days. In the meantime, my next focus and efforts will be, guess what? Painting up my pilot. And then maybe I'll be able to do I'll be able to do some component work on constructing the tub, as I call it, the interior frame. By which point, the 2-part epoxy glue should be here. So that's what's going on, and that's what I've started work on. Thanks for watching.